We were at a mountain house, and I'm sitting there preparing, and I hear her on the porch, and she's talking to, I think, a justice of the North Carolina Supreme Court, and she is preaching the virtues of early childhood education and prevention and early intervention, and she is on a roll. And it inspired me to put together a mock-up poster of a old-fashioned tent revival with Sister Mimi Graham preaching the gospel of early intervention. And she was not going to stop until he had come forth and taken a knee and dedicated his life to protecting children.
There's a whole literature on folks who are what we call connectors in the social psychology world. These are people who have very broad networks in multiple directions, who know people who are leaders and can connect one group to another to another. And Mimi is the ultimate connector. That's who she is in the world.
She just pulls you in, and to Mimi, every single person is a piece of the solution that she is looking for, and she makes you feel that way.
She is good at recruiting. If someone needs a scout to go out and get some people, they should hire Mimi. Mimi can recruit people, and Mimi just gets you to commit to saying yes. Even in your mind when you say, I don't know, I don't think so, I don't see it. After a conversation with Mimi, I'm willing to try it. If you think we can do this, let's go for it.
She makes you feel that you want to be part of her team, Team Mimi.
And probably if you're watching this, she's probably going to ask you to help her at some point if she hasn't already. So be ready for that.
Well, Mimi Graham has crossover appeal, like a rock singer who country fans like, or a country singer who rock fans like. Though she's a Democrat, she has wide respect by Republicans and independents for decades. She's respected statewide, nationally, even globally for her knowledge base. And she has made children's issues nonpartisan or bipartisan. And frankly, her rule is good policy always makes the best politics, and good policy about children is what Mimi has been about for decades.
She's dynamic and colorful, so she's fun to work with, right? She is dogged as well. That's another word. She will stay on a topic.
Dog with a bone, would not let it go about the work. And I love that, because that's how I'm like that too.
So many people in this day and age, you know, they go through the motions, but with Mimi, it's a life force.
She's a force of nature. She has a really strong personality and stubborn in the best way possible.
Just such a force of nature, a colorful force of nature. Mimi is color. Her home is color. Her clothes are color. She is a picture. She is an ad from Kate Spade. I mean, you just see, I see Mimi, and you know, like people see colors when they see, I see hot pink. It's and polka dots. She does.
But she's colorful also in terms of being somebody that folks remember and relate to. You know what I mean? That aspect of being colorful is part of who she is, but also part of how she influences people in the world.
Someone who is always bright and sprightly, and that, in my view, begins with her smile, but it is how she's dressed, how she walks, how she greets you, how she gives you a hug. And it's a great gift.
And that's one of the reasons, by the way, why I've worn my hot pink jacket today, because if anyone knows Mimi, they know that she's going to be there with some form of pink on.
People honestly do not understand early childhood development. What the first few years of a child's life means for them in the future.
Mimi understood the science, and that science is known as adverse childhood experiences. And it speaks to how adults can suffer from issues that they had as children or even babies. And so what Mimi's focus was is, yes, we care about those the adults, but what we should be focused on is the youngest among us, 0 to 3.
I was not a believer. I got on board, and I continue to thank Mimi every day for recruiting me to be a part of this vision that she had. There was other people that were like, oh, we don't know about this infant mental health thing. Mimi turned us all around.
She's a professor in the best sense of the word, which is imparting wisdom that people ultimately see as their own wisdom.
So that wonderful poem, Miles to Go Before I Sleep, Mimi could hang it up at any point and have a legacy worth remembering because of her impact on making Florida and the world safer for children. But I think her best achievements are still ahead of her.
She would emphasize that the best is yet to come.
It's not simply a matter of what was I for, but what happened? What did I do? Mimi has a record of doing things, significant things, frankly, that will endure way past any of our lifetimes. It's hard to tell where you are in history when you're living it, but what I can assure you is that the history of Mimi Graham is well worth remembering, and not only remembering, but heeding. We build from what Mimi Graham has done.